What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, July 7th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Middling, disappointing day yesterday. Middling in baseball, 2-2, down 0.35 units, and then lost in NBA 0-1 minus 1.05 units. So disappointing, but Pistol Pete Loshak had a nice winning day, really good looks in MLB. And Jose got off the schneid with a big win in the Say Hey play of the day. The Dirty K prop cashed again. And we are witnessing a very, very rare taint losing streak. And this is the second time in this losing streak where the taint would have cashed easily if it was a 6-inning bet. But it was a 5-inning bet. So I believe that Taint will get right back in business. Thank you guys so much for watching us right here on Pub Sports Radio. And I'm excited about this card. I've already made 6 bets, and I'm looking forward to possibly add on because all my bets are first 5 or 4.5 variety. Danny A in the house. Yes, very, very easy Suns victory. You know, my action was all predicated on Giannis not being in the lineup. So I saw him in the lineup. And I probably should have fucked off with that bet. You know, I probably should have left that bet alone. Disappointing. You know, they're a different basketball team without Giannis. And I'm not going to say that they're a better team without Giannis, but they move the ball around very nicely, and everybody gets their touches, and that just doesn't happen as much with Giannis on the court. It is what it is. 5-game winning streak on the hardwood snapped with that loss. Nuke Worker in the house. Thank you, Nuke. Let's get to work. There's Clint Starr, the diehard MMA podcast, ready for some daytime MLB action. And we have a ton. I love it. Nilo ready to go. Chris Brady says Bucks suck. There's Nate Dogg, Gerald Jones, Chris Brady. Oh, nice. Plus 500. Oh, am I waking up too long? Okay, yes. A lot of people playing poker these days. There's my guy Marlon Z in the house. Marlon Z, we got to get you on this show, my man. Love watching you work as well. There's Mally Mal, says Cam Johnson to the promised land. And then Fat Fap Win in the house. We got Fat Fap Win with a little action of his own. Says 2-game parlay, Cincinnati money line at plus 171. And San Francisco versus St. Louis under 8.5 at plus 190. Parlay a plus 224 situation. And sorry, the 171 is a minus line. What am I talking about? Plus 171. So 171 on the decimal is what, like a minus 128, minus 135. But a 224 on the parlay. And I'm on the first 5 over in that San Francisco St. Louis that you are under full game. Now, we could both cash because San Francisco's bullpen has been excellent. But is what it is. It does make me nervous that you like that spot. Robert Major says, do you like the Astros game over? Mostly all of the games went over. It was a lot of overs yesterday, no doubt about it. I can't wait to break down this card with all you guys. Michael Evelina says, loving the under 4.5, first 5 in Twins White Sox. I love the pitching matchup with Lynn versus Pineda, but I've not moved on. There's serious business ready to get to work. Robert Allen, Eric Jones, J Dub, Luke Murphy, Puzzler. What a great group. Dennis Trusty went 11-5-1. Beautiful. Beautiful, Trusty. And we got the big horse racing show tonight. Now, Emerald Downs isn't running, so I'm not sure. I might, because I know my mom wants to hammer the horses with me, so maybe it'll be tomorrow night that we do a big session, but we'll see. Soupy Panty says, if the Braves lose again when I bet them, I'm going to sailor dive into freshly poured cement. Okay, Soupy, come on. We can find a much better way to go out. If that's how you... Oh, and here we go. Taint play of the day is in. Atlanta first 5 minus a half. I repeat, Taint is in. Taint is in. And an extremely rare losing streak for Taint. Still sitting at 32-22, hitting at 59.3%. But what we did to get Taint out of it is we put together a little new Taint graphic. So, to get Taint back into the winners column, we provide you with this. Taint play today, Atlanta, first 5 -1/2. Let's lock that in right now. Brian Watson says, morning, we need a good soccer pick. Michael Evelina says, how long do we think Waka will go today? That's tricky. But you know I love Smiley. 12:35 action for Taint. And I ended up staying off of that. But I love Smiley. I love a Smiley. All right, so Jeff says, when are you heading to Woodbine? I'm going with my mom this Friday. So if you can get up there, Jeff, I would love that. I'm going to go up there with my mom this Friday, but I'd love to get the whole group together. But if you can get up there and hang, let's do that. Gamblers First Glance, stay tuned. Coming soon. Gamblers First Glance in the house. North Ender says, you're right, doing once the answer was in, I was all over. So that's what I should have done, North Ender. It's very, very sharp of you. Sharpie 3 and 4 on K-Props yesterday. I hope you're turning into my breakdowns today. Me and Chris G going to break down the K-Props at noon Pacific time on my YouTube. I love it. What a go. I love it. I love what you guys are doing there. I'm a huge fan. Please, if you guys, when you put out the link and the show setup, can you please tag me so I can retweet it for you guys? All right. And Pub Sports Radio, our guy Jose saying those newly juiced baseballs. Okay, we got a lot of work to do, so let's get after it. There is our guy, Nate Dogg 420, Von Polo, our man Von Polo. You should check out Von Polo's YouTube page as well. He does car vlogs, and you know what Baltimore is like, man. They got some wild car parties that Von Polo checks out and films. I'm going to tweet out one of his videos today. There's Bleds W. Says, I know you're on Mize today, Bleds. I'm not yet on Mize. And you know I love Mize, and he's coming off a bad start. And it was one of those situations that I preferred to talk out with you guys rather than just hammer immediately. All right. Robert Allen coming off 4-2 night. Attaboy, Robert Allen. Rusty Kuntz coming soon. Johnny K says, I'm not sure who you are referring to there. Dontel Jackson says, Braves or Pirates? Well, the Taint play of the day is the Braves first 5 -1/2. Taint first 5 -1/2. All right, let's get to work right now. It's so great to see everybody. Thank you for joining. I have stayed off Ryu of late, and this is Harvey's third start against the Jays in his last 4, and he's pitching well. Look, he just took out the Astros last start. Obviously, I've been leaving money on the table, not fading Harvey, but I saved money last start. So I don't know what to do. I've not been fading him. Okay, let's get to work. Thank you guys all for joining us. We got 17 games. We got 2 doubleheaders. We start at 12:10 p.m. Eastern, 1 hour away. And Brian Watson says Mize only going 3 innings, I hear. Really? Why? Pitch limit? Brian Watson, you might have nailed it. Why he only went 3 innings last? Because he wasn't having that bad of a start. He's probably on an innings limit for a young star like he is. Oh, Brian, thank you for sharing that information, because we don't trust the Tigers bullpen at all. Thank you for sharing that information, Brian. That does make sense, having him on an innings limit right now. Okay, game 1 of the double dip. We're going to start with the Cleveland Indians, Tampa Bay Rays double dip. North Ender says, I think the easiest NBA bets yesterday was Portis under 16.5. North Ender, you absolutely nailed yesterday's basketball game, and I wish I had have joined you. Cleveland Indians, 42-40, 21-20. Oh, let's quickly go over yesterday. So my bets that I made pre-show both cashed. Phillies first 5 -1/2 was just too easy, fading Arrieta. Rangers first 5 -1/2 wasn't too easy, but cashed comfortably. And then I lost on my 2 additions. Astros first 5 -1/2 at -115. Red Sox -120. Skins forever. The Taint, if it is a tie after 5, is it a push? No. Because it's a -1/2, you have to win. If it's a tie after 5, it is a loss. Okay. Let's go. We start, and I have 6 bets that I've already made. I'll just tell you them very quickly here, and we'll also go over them individually. I'm on the Reds first 4.5 -1/2. They weren't offering me the 5 on the alternate run line. And you know what? I will pay the extra juice to do a first 4.5 on a road team. To get 5 at-bats to the home team's 4, I think is quite an advantage. And before I came down to Costa Rica, when I started doing this full-time, I loved the 4.5s. And I loved taking road teams on the 4.5s. That was something that I kind of stopped doing. Okay, let's go. And look at Robert Allen says, we got something really special going on with this whole chat. And Jimmy, we're all so close to being a big team that just crushes books every single day nonstop. I love it. I love it. All right. And look at Danny A, 6-0 in NBA, and says Portis under points was my biggest bet too. Great job, Danny A. Okay. And don't forget, we have Mr. Gokster coming on to break down Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Okay. So I have Reds first 4.5 minus a half at minus 135. I have the Red Sox first 5 at minus 125. I have Phillies first 4.5 minus a half at minus 120. Rockies first 5 at minus 110. St. Louis, San Francisco first 5 over 4.5 at minus 115. And then I got this terrible line on Mariners first 5. It was funny. I was like, you know what? Should just bet this right now. It was a minus 105 early. And I was like, you know what? Let's just finish off because I have all the stats that I need to have finished for each game. And I was like, you know what? Let's just finish it all. By the time I finished it all, it literally was only 30 minutes later, 40 minutes later. It's moved 15 seconds. And like an ass, I had to take it at minus 120. And it was embarrassing tweeting that out. I was embarrassed tweeting out that I could have easily bet it 30 minutes earlier and saved a good chunk of cash, especially my units are $150 right now in MLB, so it's not. But still, it's embarrassing and upsetting. All right, let's get to work here. Cleveland Indians at Tampa Bay Rays, Tropicana Field, St. Petersburg, Florida. Game 1, let me confirm this. I have J.C. Maya going up against Michael Wacha. Again, we don't know how long Wacha will go. Let's start with Maya. He's not looked good. He's getting barreled up. He's only allowed 4 home runs in 27 2/3, but he is getting hit hard. 25 Ks, 9 walks. He has a 6.18 ERA, a 1.27 whip. In his last start, he went 4 innings, allowed 5 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 homers, 2 walks, 3 Ks, and a 7-2 loss at home versus the Astros. Mally Mal saying JC terrible. Michael Wacha, 1-2, 5.26 ERA, 1.40 whip, 51 1/3, 44 Ks, 16 walks, 9 home runs. And there we go. Gas station max bet. Max bet for gas station sushis on the Red Sox. Money line minus 123. Might be a double up spot for me because I'm already on them first 5. We have Eduardo Rodriguez on 3 straight quality starts for the first time all season. And Heaney just looks so vulnerable. Thank you for sharing that with us, Gas. My man. All right, so Indians, Rays. Wacha's last start, he went 3 innings. He allowed 5 earned runs, 7 hits, 3 homers, 2 walks, 5 Ks, 15-6 loss at the Nationals. I don't trust either of these guys. I also don't like a 12:10 p.m. game in sleepy Tropicana. Going to be a few thousand people there. It's not the best spot. Indians versus Righties, 232, 698 OPS. Rays versus Righties, 231, 720 OPS. Indians and Rays bullpen is similar. Although the Indians' bullpen's been quite poor lately, 3.40 ERA, 1.28 whip, converted 22 of 28. Rays' bullpen, 3.43 ERA, 1.18 whip, have converted 23 of 34. So let's take a look at this game 1. Remember, 7-inning spot. This total is at 5, juice to the under. And that's surprising. Very surprising. Let's see what bookmaker has done with this total. It opened up at 5 and was immediately bet towards the under. It's strange. Let's go to baseball data with these 2 pitchers. We have the Rays have never seen Maya, and Wacha has great numbers against these Indians. 158 batting average against them and 519 OPS. Strange. Vitalis says Tampa Bay is 5-0 straight up in the last 5 games and playing at home against Cleveland. Wacha, no gem, but they get to 7 innings here. Dennis Tressy says I'm leaning first 5 over, but the juice to the under scares me. It should scare you. It should scare you. I mean, it scares me. It's confusing. And when it's confusing, when I'm confused, it's hard to have confidence on a bet. So let's just see what we're dealing with here. We have It's still listed as undecided against Waka. 1,059 tickets in, 76% of the tickets and 93% of the cash on Tampa Bay. 47% of the tickets, 63% of the cash on the under. Strange. Very, very strange. And not to be trusted. Not to be trusted. So the question is then, do we back the Rays in this spot? And they're just... Oh, wait, shit. Was I looking at first five? Under five? Of course I was. Sorry, of course I was looking at first five. Of course. What am I talking about? The total at 7. It opened up at a pick'em. So there's been a 17-cent move towards the under 7. Oh, confusing. And the Rays opened up at minus 177. We only have 1,000 tickets in, and there's been a 24-cent move towards the Indians. Very, very strange. Nice job, Chris Smith. Okay. And Michael Irvin says Maya is starting for the Indians. Yeah, that's what I have. I have Maya starting. It is unlisted. At a couple books, it says undecided. Okay, there you go. There is a Cleveland Indians Tampa 7-inning game to open up the day at 12:10 p.m. Market moving towards the Indians, market moving towards the under. I want neither, and I'm not betting it. Let's take a quick look at game 2. We know that Henches will be in, and the Rays are bad versus lefties. 230, 689. Jansen says, why doesn't Bet365 offer the first 5 alternate run lines? They do sometimes, they don't others. It's very confusing as to why they don't, and it's upsetting. So I hear you, and I'm not letting it hurt me. I'm either taking 4.5s or 7s or even 3s in that situation. And Slatsy says Arozarena not in the lineup game 1. Thank you for sharing that with us. Of course, I should have had that up right now. Let's pull up RotoWire's lineups for these afternoon spots. Thank you, Slatsy. All right. Get these lineups up right now. No Arozarena. Well, they're going to save Arozarena for the lefty because they don't have a lot of guys who can hit lefties. So I get that look. They got Vidal Brouillon batting 5th at 2nd. Brandon Lau, G-Man Choi, Wendell, Meadows, Brouillon, Kiermaier, Walls, Zanino for the Rays. For the Indians, Hernandez, Rosario, Ramirez, Reyes, Bradley, Ramirez again. Obviously not Jose. Zimmer, Perez, and Johnson. Okay, no move for me. Game 2, we have... if the Indians win game 1, I'll be very interested in backing the Rays against Henches. Henches only got through 2 2/3, allowed 6 earned runs in his last start. If we get a confirmation, if while this game is going on, we get confirmation that Henches is the starter and we find out who the Tampa Bay Rays starter is, I'll be very, very interested in backing the Rays in game 2. Even though they don't hit lefties hard, I like the fact that they're holding Arozarena out for that game. Okay, so no move for me in that doubleheader at this point, but I'm interested in the Rays in game 2. And Turnsey saying Cologne doubtful tonight. And there's Nut Flush Allen. Sorry I'm late. Mom and I were out a little late last night. I love it. Nut Flush Allen, Kristen Allen in Vegas right now. 8:20 a.m. in Vegas. Okay, Ty Clinton says the Braves can't be trusted. The Braves can't be trusted. 12:35 p.m. Eastern, we have the taint play of the day. Atlanta, first 5, -0.5 at -110. I repeat, the taint play of the day. Braves, first 5, -0.5 at -110. And we have opened up with the new taint graphics. We'll always have Mia. She'll always be right there for us, Mia Khalifa. But taint play of the day is the Braves' first 5, -0.5. We're at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And Loshak was very good on yesterday's show. And one of the things he talked about was how he had made mistakes backing favorites at Pittsburgh when Pittsburgh is a bottom-feeding team and Pittsburgh plays well at home. And the Braves are just 17-22 on the road. Soupy Panty says Braves are due for a breakout. There's Ken Mizrahi in the house. Great to see you, Ken. There's Mr. Gokster. And Mike M says Crow's second consecutive home start and coming from the loss. Yeah, absolutely, Mike M. That we've seen at this time of year, the second consecutive and third consecutive home starts has been a very successful betting angle for us. Drew Smiley, 82 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, humid, 7 miles per hour out to left. Smiley's been excellent. I backed him and made a lot of cash off him. 6-3, 4.42 ERA, 1.28 WHIP. It's also helped us that he got off to a real bad start to the year. His ERA is down to 4.42 ERA, but he had a +5 ERA for a lot of this run he's on. 73 in the third, 64 Ks, 25 walks, and has allowed 15 home runs, but the bulk of them came early. Last start, 1-0 win at home versus the Marlins. He went 5 2/3, allowed 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks. Will Crow has the exact same spot that Mike's been talking about. Second consecutive home start coming from the loss. Crow, last start, 4 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 3 walks, 6 Ks, and 7-2 loss at home versus the Brewers. 6.26 ERA, 1.61 WHIP. Braves are hitting 234, 739 OPS versus righties. Pirates are hitting just 228, 656 OPS versus lefties. Braves bullpen bad. Pirates bullpen is strong. Let's take a quick look at baseball data, but I like this look. So I looked at. You guys know Smiley and Mize are 2 pitchers that have put cash in my pocket. But I need certain boxes ticked if I'm going to take a big favorite. And I did have what Loshak was saying yesterday in my head. Against Smiley, they're 9 for 29 with 2 doubles, a triple, and 3 homers. 310, 1.113 OPS. And look, the Braves smashed Crow. 9 for 22 with 2 doubles and 4 homers. 409 average, 1.545 OPS. Robert Allen says best bet of the day, Detroit, Texas under 4 first 5. I couldn't bet it, Robert Allen, because that 4.5 was available for us. And I wanted it. And I didn't get there in time. The 4, when I could have bet it, was at +105, so I ended up staying off of it, but I like it. Gerald Jones says high total for a first 5. Let's take a closer look. For the full game, the total opened up at 9. It's now at 9.5. There's been a 15-cent move towards the Pirates. Red alert. This total was originally under 5 at -120. It's now over 5 at -117. And in the first 5, there's been a 5-cent move towards the Braves. So the move towards the Pirates is full game. So I like the look. Bloods W says, I like the horn going off better for Taint. Well, I like the look. And if I hadn't known that that was what Taint was on, I probably bet it. But I'm not going to rush to get it in here. I'm not going to rush to get it in here. But I like it. Taint play today, Atlanta, first 5 -1/2 at -110. All right, we move on to 1:10 p.m. Eastern. 1:10 p.m. Eastern. And this is a tricky spot that I want to back. I want to back Lance Lynn. I love the Bulldog. Chicago White Sox, 50-35, 19-21 on the road at the Minnesota Twins, 35-49, 18-24 at home. 18-24 at home. And Robert Allen, best bet of the day, that Detroit, Texas under. And Vital saying, I like that bet, but let that roof be open during midday and the Rangers stacking lefties. You might be in trouble unless you get that 4.5. Is that roof open? Because I had difficulty getting that information. And Anthony Imbrogno in the house says, Pirates going for first sweep. Freeman came up lame after that bat. Pirates are my home team, and I never like to back them. But Braves bats are cold. Be careful. I like the Buccos, says Anthony. I love that. I love that. There's Prince of the City. There's Prince of the City in the house. I missed you, Prince. Just in time for baseball breakdowns, Prince. Just in time. Okay. Target Field, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 66 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 8 miles per hour in the Bulldog. Lance Lynn in the house, 8-3, 2.02 ERA, 1.03 WHIP, 84 2/3, 99 Ks, 28 walks, 8 home runs. Yes, I did play the Astros first 5 yesterday and lost, FN. And a nice job getting it full game. There's Ulysses Hayes in the house. Robert Cherry ready to get to work. Okay, so the Bulldog at Detroit last start was against Casey Mize. And my initial thought was, well, I want the under in this game because I'd cashed on it before. But we saw the market moving quickly towards the over. And so I stayed off. Sure enough, it did go over. 8-2 final score. But it wasn't on Lance Lynn. He went 6 innings, allowed 4 hits, 1 earned run, 5 walks, 9 Ks. Pineda, 3-4, 3.70 ERA, 1.14 whip, 56 innings, 51 Ks, 15 walks, 10 home runs. In his last start, he went 4 innings, allowed 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 1 walk, just 1 K in a 14-3 loss at home versus the Astros. So now he has that second consecutive home start. White Sox versus righties, 248, 729 OPS. Twins versus righties, 239, 744 OPS. White Sox bullpen is being good, 4.02 ERA, 1.32 whip, converted 24 of 38. Twins bullpen is being bad, 4.97 ERA, 1.38 whip, 20 of 31. Let's start with the baseball data in this spot. Against Lynn, they're hitting 250 with an 808 OPS. Miguel Sano, 3 for 5, all 3 hits, extra bases, 1 double, 2 home runs. Larnack, 2 for 5. And Drelton Simmons, 7 for 23 with 2 doubles and a homer. But Nelson Cruz, 1 for 5. I like seeing that. Donaldson, 1 for 6 with a single. Kepler, 0 for 6. Luis Reyes, 0 for 8. All right. So let's go over to the market moves and then see where the cash is in this spot. On the first 5, it opened at 4, and it's at 4.5. This is the same thing that happened in Lance Lynn's last start. Tricky. Let's see if there's been a market move on the first 5. There was initially a 10-cent move to the White Sox, but it's come back. Very, very interesting. Now let's go to full game here with Lynn and Pineda. The move to the over is a first-half move because full game there hasn't been. There's been a 3-cent move to the over in the full game at 8.5. And there's been a 5-cent move towards the Twins, minus 121 to minus 116. And then Robert Allen says, turns I'm taking the Habs. I can't wait to talk about it. And swerving, watching Chapo. So Pavlov in action right now. Okay, so let's take a look at the cash flow in this spot. We have 82% of the tickets and 67% of the cash on the White Sox. You had a 5-cent move to Pineda and the Twins. 42% of the tickets and 79% of the cash on the over, but there's been no move on the over full game. Robert Allen says White Sox are beat up right now, not hitting well. Okay, so no move for me. Michael Evelina says took the under 4.5 first 5. Both pitchers can have quality starts. Can't take full game because the Twins have a trash bullpen. Johnny K says Canadiens to win the Cup. They were 40-1 before Game 4, 17-1 after Game 4. Matty Ice looking at Tim Anderson props. So there will be no move for me in this. And I can comfortably say that because we have a giant card, and I've already made 6 bets, so we got a lot of opportunities. I'm leaving off White Sox and Minnesota Twins. We move on to 2:05 p.m. Eastern. Here it is, the Casey Mize, Kyle Gibson opportunity. Very interesting to hear that Casey Mize might be on a 3-inning pitch limit or innings limit. Let me just see if I can just get Casey Mize innings limit. Will anything come up? Wow, here we go. Mize entered the game with 88 innings pitched. How many innings does he have pitched right now? He's 91 in the third, yeah. There's no magic number, no maximum number of innings that they won't let him exceed, but he's on pace for 176 innings, which is far more than the Tigers would prefer. He knew his innings would eventually be limited. Wow, that's great stuff. That was great stuff. Who gave us that information? It was, I forget now, but so important, so crucial. Brian Watson, right? It was Brian Watson? Brian, thank you. Jay Hyper, I have 6 bets on today's card. We haven't got to the first one of them, but I'm all over this card. I'm all over this card. Vital says I went back through Gibson's games this season. He's 9-3-3, first 5 to 75%. No one talking about this kid. Oh, we had Pete talking about this kid 2 weeks ago. And roof's closed confirmed. Yeah, that's what I expected, Robert Allen, for your spot here. My first action comes next. So I said expect roof closed at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Okay, so Casey Mize being on this pitch limit would make me extremely uncomfortable to back the Tigers. And, it might even be uncomfortable for Casey Mize knowing that he's on a pitch limit. Does he not pace himself? Maybe is he going to be better in 3 innings? He didn't look great in his last 3 innings start, 8-2 loss at home versus the White Sox. Gibson 6-0, 1.98 ERA, 1.03 whip. He's been so good. 81 Ks, 29 walks, 95 2/3, 7 home runs allowed. In his last start, it was an extra inning loss at the Mariners, but he did his job. 5 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 home run, 3 walks, 7 Ks. The Tigers versus righties, 236, 699 OPS. Rangers versus righties, 228, 684 OPS. Mal likes Gibson first 5, and why wouldn't you? I get it. Both bullpens are bad. Tigers are worse than the Rangers. Tigers bullpen 5.21 ERA, 1.49 whip, have converted 18 of 28. Rangers bullpen 4.57 ERA, 1.36 whip, have converted 16 of 30. And Matty Ice is on the first 5 under 4. Interesting. Wow. Roof closed helps. I should have got it at 4.5, and I just have not been chasing. But we heard Hunter Engelhardt saying he would prefer a plus number at 4 than a 4.5. Millsy in the house says, I'm on the under in the Tigers versus Rangers. Well, okay, let's go to baseball data and look at this a little further. Against Lance Lynn, against Casey Mize. I haven't seen Casey Mize. That helps. Against Kyle Gibson, 246 with a 649 OPS. Wow. Okay. So let's look at this market move. The total opened up at 8. And last night, I looked, because the first 5s don't come out at Bet365 till about 9:30, 9:45 in the morning. Last night, I looked at the under, and it was juiced to the over. And only a little bit, 6-8 cents. And I was surprised. I woke up this morning, it was back to even. And now again, it is juiced to the over. Gibson opening up at minus 145. He's now minus 142. Let's go to that first 5 spot for you guys. And first 5 opened up at 4.5. It was quite juiced. And it's still at 4.5 at Pinnacle. And all the other books have moved it to 4. DC says Texas win again today. All right, let's see where the cash lies. The cash in this spot, we have 73% of the tickets, 79% of the cash on the Rangers, 46% of the tickets, 49% of the cash on the under. So with 73% and 79% of the money line cash on the Rangers, let's go back to this full game and see why then has it gone from minus 145 to minus 142. Because the Tigers offensively are stronger than the Rangers? Nice job, Javier. I saw that, Trusty, what's going on in Indiana Grand today. Stakes races and mandatory payout. I love it. Thank you, Trusty. I'm going to copy and paste this right now from Trusty. Flavian Pratt comes in to ride 1 horse from Cali, race 11, the 2 horse at 3-1. If there isn't a jockey change, I think the horse is a must play. I also like the 5 and the 8 there. Thank you for sharing that. I am in. Okay, so let's get that over here. Okay, so Danny A is on the Rangers money line today. Why is there not a bigger move on the Rangers? Let's just go to the first half money line. I'm not going to take the total. It's fishy that Pinnacle is the one book that hasn't dropped it down to 4. Clearly, they want money on the under. I'm not sure that Mize is going to go 5 innings. And there's been no move on Gibson. I have enough action. I don't need to reach here. You have to think that Casey Mize going 3 innings. Maybe his arm is real fresh right now. The Rangers haven't seen him. And I love him. I don't want my heart to get involved here, but I've got enough action. Mr. Gokster says no run first inning. I like that. But my only concern is, does Mize overthrow a little bit knowing that he's not going to be in long? Let's see what we get. No run first inning here. Here we go. No run first inning. Where are you, baby? A run in the first inning. No at minus 125. Christopher Comentini, it is official. He is on some type of innings limit. I think you nailed it. No run first inning. I think that you nailed it, Gokester. Okay. No run first inning. I'm interested. I'm going to put one question mark beside it just because it wasn't, and I don't want to sit here and hum and haw, but I'm going to go back to it. I like it. It makes sense. Thank you, Mr. Gokester. All right, let's move on to my first action of the day. I'm on the Cincinnati Reds first 4.5, minus a half run at minus 135. That juice is minus 125 at Bet365, Robert Allen. So let's go with this Reds spot. Now, there was movement towards the Royals that I had to let go of and not let it get in the way of my plan of action here. And I'm not against Brady Singer, but I like Sonny Gray. Yes, Gavin Henry, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, the first Saturday of Saratoga. And Del Mar has huge races that day, too. What does Del Mar have? Del Mar has the San Diego Handicap, $250K. Saratoga has the Diana Stakes, $500K, and the Sanford Stakes, $150K, and it's Haskell Day. So Hot Rod Charlie will be back in effect, and Hot Rod Charlie will be on my card. Okay. Vital says, would you rather do the first 4.5 or the team total over? That's a tricky question, Vitalis. I love the advantage of having 5 innings over 4, or 5 offensive opportunities over 4 offensive opportunities. And I love having Sonny Gray on the hill. Let's just go to the baseball data before we break all this down. Against Sonny Gray, they're hitting .239 with a .594 OPS. They're 17 for 71. So in 71 at-bats against this Royal squad, he's allowed 2 extra base hits, a homer to Benintendi, and a double to Salvi Perez. And Salvi Perez is 2 for 14 against them. Carlos Santana is 3 for 22 against them. Benintendi gets to him. So with that looked at, I want Sonny Gray to be part of this equation. Do I think that the team total over first 5 is in effect? Definitely. But another issue there, we have Thistledown's race 2 today. Thank you, Gavin. Copy and paste that here. Never have enough action. Don't forget, Razor Sharp Picks Horse Racing Show tonight. And then don't remember the big key to my local only having being Bet365 or whatever is that they don't give out first 5 team totals. So I'm not always looking to attack that spot, which is a spot that gives you a nice ROI. So I like them both. Sonny Gray, 1-4, 3.27 ERA, 1.29 WHIP, 55 innings, 73 Ks, 21 walks, 8 home runs. His last start was nice. He allowed 1 earned run in a 2-1 win at home versus the Cubs. He went 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 walk, 8 Ks. Brady Singer, 3-6, 4.74 ERA, 1.52 WHIP, 79 2/3, 85 Ks, 35 walks, 8 home runs allowed. In his last start, he went 3 innings, allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, 4 Ks, and a 7-4 win at home versus the Twins. Twins hit hard, but he only made it through 3. And the Reds hit righties harder than the Twins at 256 with a 770 OPS. Royals versus righties just 241, 688 OPS. Am I so afraid of the Reds bullpen that I bet a first 5? Yeah, because I didn't want to double up in this situation. Although it's prime for a double up. Royals bullpen's not that good, but they're better than the Reds bullpen. Royals bullpen 4.51 ERA, 1.38 WHIP, converted 18 of 31. The Reds bullpen 5.29 ERA, 1.43 WHIP, have converted 22 of 35. Against Singer, Only 2 batters have faced him, Freeman and Naquin, and they're 0 for 5 combined. With the market move here in Reds Royals, let's go here in the interleague action. First 5, the Reds opened up at minus. Oh, I don't have the opening. Sorry, let me move over to the bookmaker for this. The Reds opened up at minus 144. They quickly go to minus 155 and then back to minus 145. Interesting. Let's move over to full game here with the. Oh, come on. This isn't really going to. Okay, here we go. Let's go with the full game. And a huge move towards the Reds full game. Opening up at minus 144, now minus 127. That probably should have got me off. Eric Thomas says, Jimmy, but something with great pitching in the AL is going to give out runs, I feel. Mally Mouse says, swear Reds never win first 5 for this dude. Interesting, Eric. The full game move towards the Royals is a tricky situation. Let's see how much reverse market movement that is. So 35% of the tickets, 32% of the cash on the Royals and the market moving in their direction. That's wild. 59% of the tickets and 57% of the cash on the over. Wow. Dennis Tracy says, I'm not great at these, but thoughts on Singer's outs of 15.5. I would take the under. But the market moving in his direction, they obviously think he's going to have a nice start here. Well, this is very interesting. Reminds us of the Lance Lynn Pineda start, where the first 5 was bet to the over, but the full game's not. Mally Mouse says, I lost a ton back in Reds first 5 when he pitches, but somehow they always win the game at the end. I can see why that move. Now, I cashed on Gray's last start, and you're right. It was on Friday, my first 7. I had first 7 minus half because they weren't offering the first 5. So, tricky. And in all honesty, if I could get off of this, if I could have not bet this with the market move, I'd be more comfortable. Luke Murphy was with me on that first 7. Because Bet 365 wasn't offering the first 5, so Luke and I both were on that first 7 in cash. Look, I'm on the Reds first 4.5. Minus a half and minus 135. It costs a lot, but I get 5 at bats to 4, and I'm going to go. Mally Mouse says Singer definitely been terrible though. DC says Royals are 9-1 their last 10 interleague home games. There's a right-handed starter. Viper MB leaning Reds but passing. Robert Allen says Brady's been struggling giving up runs early in his starts. Maybe I'll jump on Reds first 5 or over first 5 innings. Okay, so we move, and money's moving towards the over at Penny, says Mr. Gross. Okay, very, very interesting, and I'm a little concerned. But I'm locked in. All right, we move on to the doubleheader. Brewers, Mets. We're going to start with Game 1 at 2:10 p.m. Citi Field, Queens, New York. Let's get confirmation that it's Corbin Burnes versus DeGrom for Game 1, and we have that confirmation. Wow, look at this total. For a 7-inning doubleheader, I know, but 4.5. Woo. Opening up the over 4.5 at minus 115. Now it's at minus 122. DeGrom opening up at minus 175, and now he's at minus 170. So a 5-cent move over to Corbin Burnes and the Brew Crew. Brewers are 16 games over 500, 51-35, and very good on the road, 25-17 at the Mets, 44-37, 25-11 at home. Viper says 4.5 is wild. Wild. In Citi Field, Queens, New York, 90 Fahrenheit, 10 miles per hour out to center is the win. Corbin Burnes, 4-4, 2.41 ERA, 0.90 whip, 82 innings, 120 Ks, 15 walks, 3 home runs. In his last start, he went 7 1/3, allowed 4 hits, 1 earned run, it was solo shot, 1 walk, 5 Ks, and 7-2 win at Pittsburgh. I was on the first 5 over 4 in that game. Only 3 runs were scored in the first 5, and it was a loss for me. And Corbin Burnes pitched really well. DeGrom, and we knew his spin rate was way down. So that was the thing. We knew his spin rate was way down. And that's what I was attacking, and it did not work. Jacob deGrom, 7-2, 0.95 ERA, 0.54 whip, 85 innings, 136 Ks, 136 Ks. God damn. 85 innings, 11 walks, 4 runs allowed. In his last start, it was a very interesting start. We had Sharpie on the 30K prop over 9.5. He got hit for 3 runs in the first inning. Ended up going 7 strong, not allowing another run, quality start, and 14 strikeouts to 0 walks. It was a spectacular performance. 4-3 loss, though, at the Braves, going up against Ian Anderson, who had a great start yesterday. Brewers versus righties, 221, 685 OPS. Mets versus righties, 228, 671 OPS. Both are poor. Vital says Mets lineup is in, but not the Brewers. Mets have 7 lefties in the lineup today versus Burns. Robert Allen says it's juiced like crazy, but hear me out. Mets minus 1.5 is like a guarantee today. DeGrom's not giving the Brewers anything today. He's pissed. He gave up runs last 2 starts, and Mets offense at home is fire. Dav Fenn says I was playing the under 7 yesterday because we thought this was the matchup yesterday, but it was rained out. Today I'm playing the over 4.5. That's from Dav Fenn. And GG shocked at the 4.5, as he should be. Okay, so here we go. Both Brewers Mets bullpen good. 3.82 ERA, 1.32 whip for the Brewers. 3.88 ERA, 1.30 whip for the Mets. Let's go to baseball data here. Against Corbin Burns, 200 with a 400 OPS. Very small sample size. These guys haven't seen him. 2 for 10 with 2 singles. Against DeGrom, 309 with a 745 OPS. When we went over this yesterday, it's because Yelich gets to him. Wow, Mally Mouse says the first 5 is 3. Christmas says, Burns at this price, I'll take a shot. I get it. I absolutely get it. I get why you'd want Burns. I'm not going to go up against DeGrom in the spot at home with Burns' spin rate so poor and coming off a nice road start. Now 2nd straight road start. Okay. Mal was going to bet no run first inning yesterday for this game. Now it's going to be so juiced. So no move for me in game 1. In game 2, we just know that Brett Anderson is on the mound. Do we know who he's going up against? We don't. The Mets are slight favorites against Brett Anderson. They hit a little better versus lefties, 234, 694 OPS. And Brett Anderson got hurt badly in his last start at Arizona. It's going to cool down a little bit at 7:10 p.m. Still 86 Fahrenheit. Brett Anderson, 2-5, 4.69 ERA, 1.46 whip, 31 Ks, 15 walks, 7 home runs. In his last start, he made through just 1 1/3. You know, I think he's vulnerable. And it might be a relief to see Brett Anderson on the mound after Corbin Burns. I'd like to see who the Mets are pitching. I would say I have interest in the Mets in game 2. But they will likely put out a better lineup to ensure they get that win in game 1 with DeGrom on the mound. And you know what? Brett Anderson just gets me, man. He just finds a way to hurt me. So Robert Allen says his grandparents are in Ocala, Florida, where the hurricane is supposed to be at some point. Pray for them. Yes, Robert Allen, thoughts go out to your grandparents, and may they be safe through that big storm. And much love to you, man. Your fam. There's Alex Ramirez started the Spidey play today. Okay, so no move for me in the double dip. But if the Brewers somehow sneak out a win against DeGrom, I will have some interest. I'm going to write it in again. If DeGrom loses. If Corbin Burns pitches a gem, I'll have some interest. Okay, let's roll on. Next up, we have a move that's correlated with a gas station sushi max bet. I'm on the Boston Red Sox first 5. And look, the Red Sox bullpen is much better than the Angels bullpen. And the Angels used some of their best pieces yesterday. I don't see why I don't double dip here. And maybe I make that addition. Maybe I add full game with gas. But I'm already on the first 5 at minus 125. I'd like to see what that is right now. First 5 on the Red Sox is still at minus 125. Okay. Eduardo Rodriguez. He has been terrible. He's been so bad. But he's coming on. 3 straight quality starts. Everybody looking at that 5.42 ERA. He's better than that. His last start was very nice. 6 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, 6 Ks, 3-2 extra inning win at Oakland. We're at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. It's hot. 79 Fahrenheit. 9 miles per hour out to center. Red Sox are still 21 games over 500, 54-33, 27-16 on the road. At the Angels, 43-42, 25-20 at home. Angel Stadium. Eduardo Rodriguez going up against Heaney, and Heaney's been bad. The last start, 3 innings, 5 hits, 7 earned runs, 3 home runs, 4 walks, 4 Ks, and 11-5 loss at the Yankees. He's got a 5.40 ERA, 1.34 WHIP. He's allowed 14 home runs in 71 2/3. Both teams smashed lefties. Red Sox 264, 762 OPS. Angels 256, 766 OPS. Red Sox bullpen 3.45 ERA, 1.38 WHIP, converted 29-43. Angels bullpen's been so bad this year. 4.70 ERA, 1.42 WHIP, converted 21-36. Chris Brady says minus 125 is kind of spendy. And Jose saying, yes, Eduardo Rodriguez is back. Yeah, it's costly. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's go to baseball data here and see if we can add to it. Only 3 Angels batters have even seen Rodriguez. Iglesias, Suzuki, and Gosselin. They're 5 for 19. Iglesias is 4 for 9 with 2 doubles and a homer against them. Against Heaney, they don't have a ton of hits, but they have 4 homers. So they're 15 for 56, but 7 of those 15 hits are for extra bases, 3 doubles and 4 homers, 268, 905 OPS. I'm already on the Red Sox first 5, and I don't see why I don't move on them full game either. Bullpen advantage. Angels using their best pieces yesterday. I'm adding full game. I'm doubling up. Double up spot for me. Let's move on to the next spot. And we didn't know who was pitching in Dodgers Marlins. I mean, I expected it was Urias on the mound, but now it's just undecided on both. So there's no point to spend much time on it. But we can give a big shout out to Pete Loshak. He was not concerned of the market move yesterday from 7.5 to 8. He bet the under. He cashed the under. And I wish I had too. And Robert Allen doubling up as well. Javier Gonzalez says the Angels are 7-3 in the last 10. Yeah, they're playing good ball. DC says the Angels are 1-7 in Heaney's last 8 home starts versus a team with a winning record. DC on the Angels money line and the over. Okay. So Dodgers, Marlins, I have to stay off. 7:05 p.m. Eastern, Toronto Blue Jays at Baltimore Orioles. And I start smiling thinking of Matt Harvey. And you guys have seen me not bet Harvey starts all year. And I don't know if I want to do here either. Camden Yards, Baltimore, Maryland, 89 Fahrenheit, humid, partly cloudy, 9 miles per hour out to left. Blue Jays are 43-40, 24-20 on the road. Orioles are 28-57, 13-26 at home. Jays made a trade yesterday with the Brew Crew. Rowdy Tellez now a Milwaukee Brewer. I think he'll be good for Milwaukee. I think he'll be a big help to Milwaukee. And we get Trevor Rogers and another bullpen piece because our bullpen is trash. Hyun-Jin Ryu on the mound, 7-5, 3.65 ERA, 1.15 WHIP. 93 2/3. Oh, I guess I didn't look at where the cash was in this Angels Red Sox spot. Why didn't I? Sorry, let's just quickly. 27% of the tickets and 26% of the cash on the Angels. So a lot of money on the Red Sox. Those of you looking at the total in that game, 73% of the tickets on the over, but 78% of the cash on the under. That's wild. And there's been a 13-cent move to the Red Sox, so I feel good there. And there's been a 7-cent move towards the under 9. So that might give you guys a bit of a red flag, the ones that are bullish on the over. Okay, Harvey. Ryu's last start was ugly. Lost at home versus the Mariners. We cashed on Kikuchi first 5. It was a poker-addicted 79 play that he was bullish on, and I was a little bitch. I took them first 5 plus a half at minus 110 instead of first 5 at plus 160. And in my mind, I was saying I did not turn it into a favorite. I turned it into a pick'em and that's okay. And I wish I hadn't have had that mentality. He did not look good, and he's not been looking good of late. He's got a 3.65 ERA now. He only has 74 Ks in 93 and 2/3. He's allowed 14 home runs in 93 innings. That's not like Ryu. Matt Harvey on the other side, coming off a nice start at the Astros. He didn't get the win. He wasn't in long enough. 4 1/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 2 walks, 3 Ks, and a 5-2 win at the Astros. The Jays are hitting 267, 787 OPS versus righties. The Orioles are smashing lefties, 275, 772 OPS. Jays bullpen 3.96 ERA, 1.28 WHIP, have converted 15 of 25. Orioles bullpen is an absolute train wreck. And those of you who cashed that over late, it made me very happy for you guys. Very happy. Now, I was happy that I was off the over because we deemed it too high at 11. But then that 2-run home run and the 4 Jays runs in the last 2 innings, I was happy for you guys. Sharpie says here, and there's Piker right there. Says I'm on Phillies first 5. Yes, I'm on Phillies first. Yes, I'm not sure if I got first 5 or first 4.5. Let me check again. First 4.5 minus a half is what I had to take. We'll get into that too. But yes, I'm on the Phillies first 5 as well. But let's hammer this one out. And just before we do hammer this one out, Jays, Orioles, we're still talking about in the middle of, but let's shout out the Dirty K prop of the day. Burns over 7.5 Ks at plus 110. Says Mets last 15 days, 30 days, 29% strikeout percentage, getting a 7.5 because last 4 games were versus teams that don't strike out. There you go. Burns over 7.5 at plus 110. I repeat, the Dirty K prop is in. Over 7.5 strikeouts at plus 110. There we go. There we go. Let's get back to work here. And let me just make sure I got the Dirty K prop over the Brewers game 1 spot. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us. Vitalis says, and there is our guy, Top Set in the house. Piker says, if you think the Orioles are going to hit, then hit the over. I know Harvey's going to get nut punched for at least 4. See, I'm not so bullish fading Matt Harvey. Maybe that's crazy. And the spreadsheet play today is the Blue Jays -1 for a bounce back start from Hyunjin Ryu. Okay, let's dig a little deeper in this spot. First off, the Orioles are hitting 230, 634 OPS versus Ryu. So they haven't been hitting him hard, even though they smashed lefties. Against Harvey, the Jays hit him very hard. 345, 1.042 OPS. Can Harvey actually pitch against this lineup that just smashes for a 3rd time in 4 starts? And it's crazy. Okay, well, let's see if the market can help move us in a direction. The total opened at 10. It's now at 11. It's moved a full run. And there's been a huge move to the Orioles. Huge. 39-cent move. The Baltimore Orioles. Jays open up at -227. They're now -188. Wow. Okay, and let's see where the cash is in this spot. 84% of the tickets, 86% of the cash on the Blue Jays, and a 39-cent move to the Orioles. 60% of the tickets on the over, but 86% of the cash on the under. Look, I'm not going to change. I've been staying away from these Jays games that Harvey's pitching in. I've been fading Ryu. And there's Mississippi Kid in the house. Great to see you, MK. So there's no move for me. Yeah, it turns you on Bet365. You can't get the 9 minutes, 30 seconds. You can get the 9:30 on Pinnacle. It's a great book. All right. Okay, so we have Ron Crawford on the spreadsheet play of the day. Jays -1. But there'll be no action from me. All right, 8:05 p.m. Eastern. We have the Philadelphia Phillies, 41-42, 17-26 on the road at the Chicago Cubs, 42-44. 26-15 at home. And we talk about the transparency we have in the show and how important it is to us. And our man Jose, not afraid to be completely transparent and honest. 13-16 right now, down 3.01 units. ROI minus 10.38%. Average line plus 102. But Jose is streaky. And he's coming off a big casher. And I believe in him. I believe in Jose. Jose's Say Hey play of the day coming up right now. Right now, please welcome to the show my man and yours, Jose. Jose, my man, coming off a casher. You're looking at this Phillies game. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, Jimmy. I'm doing well. I'm going to do some on-the-fly producing here, Jimmy, real quick. Did you talk about Dodgers Marlins?
We talked very briefly about them. The pitchers aren't announced, so there's no line.
Okay. All right. Because I was like, did I miss that? Was that just go over my head? All right. I was just wondering. But I'm doing well. Can't complain, Jimmy. A lot of good baseball games today. So I'm very excited about it. I mean, that Mets, Brewers, DeGrom burn spots is must-see television. So I'm very excited. And the Red Sox are going to win today as well, as told by Gas Station Sushi. So I'm excited to watch that as well.
And you are on this Phillies Chicago Cubs. We do not talk about streaks, and it's been working for us. But we do know what's going on in this Phillies Cubbies spot. Cubs are on a massive losing streak. We cashed with the Phillies' first 5 yesterday. I'm afraid of the Phillies bullpen, and I had every reason to. The final score was 15-10 yesterday. We have Zach Wheeler on the bump going up against Alec Mills. There is rain in the forecast. There's rain before the game, then it looks like there's going to be a little spot of no rain, and then rain will come back. The weather's also 11 miles per hour in. We know that will help Alec Mills. That will help him. And he's coming off a nice start at the Reds. When I initially was going to bet Zach Wheeler first 5. Then I started looking at the rain and thinking about Alec Mills' last start and thinking about maybe is this the guy that can stop a double-digit losing streak? And I got off. And then I went over to the baseball data, and I saw that the Phillies are hitting .455 with a 1.538 OPS. Now, the sample size is small, 5 for 11. But Harper's 2 for 2 against them with a homer. Real Muto, 1 for 2. Brad Miller, 1 for 2. Segura, 1 for 2. Rhys Hoskins 0 for 2. But Harper, the way Harper could hit him, I thought, you know what? Maybe it doesn't matter that the win's going in if I'm just a first 5. And then they didn't let me take a first 5 run line. So I had to take first 4.5, minus a half, and minus 120. And then I got 5 at bats to 4. So it all made sense to me, Jose. How are you betting this?
Yeah, this was a pretty simple game, honestly. Shout out to our guy, Vitalis. I'm not picking the Cubs today. So you don't worry. You will not have to change the channel today. You can just continue watching. The Cubs losing streak has been pretty special. And I think we should just talk about it for at least a brief second. Sure. They no-hit the Dodgers. Let's all remember that. They no-hit one of the best teams in baseball. That was their last win. Since then, they lost in the 8th inning to those Dodgers. They got walked off in Game 3 of that series. They score 7 runs in the first inning and lose to the Brewers. They get swept by the Brewers. They get swept by the Reds. And in every one of those Reds games, it was 2-1, 3-2, 3-2. So this team has been getting emotionally just put in the torture chamber. Along with that, now this Phillies series, 13-3 and a 15-10 just shellacking. It's crazy what has been being done to this Cubs team. I have said all year that the Cubs need to do what's right and to go into the tank for baseball's sake. They need to start trading off their pieces. It'll make everything much more interesting. They're done. I think they're done, honestly. I think they've turned in their cards and said, we're going to start selling. Zach Wheeler is so much better of a pitcher than Alec Mills. It's pretty crazy. So I didn't overthink this, Jimmy. I'm on the Phillies first 5 minus a half. It's really not that difficult. At the beginning of the show, it was at even money on Pinnacle. Right now on Pinnacle, it is at minus 107. I thought that was a pretty mind-boggling line, honestly, especially with Zach Wheeler on the bump. And I'm shocked. I'm shocked that's the line.
I like it, but there is something. I think it's sharps trying to catch a falling knife at this point, but there's something a little unsettling. Let's see if we can dive deeper in whether we should be worried. The Phillies open up full game at minus 140. They're now minus 134. So there's been a 6-cent move towards the Cubs, and the total's gone from 7.5 down to 7. And we can just say that is because of wind. So let's move over to the money here, and we have 71% of the tickets and 72% of the tickets, 3,442 tickets in, 72% of the tickets and 73% of the cash on the Phillies. And there's been a move towards the Cubs. That makes me a little uncomfortable. 64% of the tickets and 79% of the cash on the over. With the wind blowing in like this at Wrigley, I don't want to have anything to do with the over. Piker says Zach Wheeler's a better pitcher than 98% of pitchers. So, yeah, big advantage. Big advantage. And both Chris Smith and Chris Bercomentini talking about this wind blowing in heavy. So, with all that said, I like your look very much. And I got first 4.5 minus a half at minus 120. So, you know what? If you offered me 13 cents to have 5 at-bats to 4, I would pay it. This is one of the spots where I like where I stand. Now, it probably was 20 cents at the time because you said it was even money when you made the move on it. So, Piker says Pinnacle shows this opening at minus 118 and it's minus 137 now.
I'll refresh my page again.
Oh, no, he's talking about full game.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was about to say, I'll keep refreshing. I've been shocked at this line. Like, you tell me that this was a 200 line and I'd believe you.
Are you looking at first 5, Piker? Because Pinnacle opened this up at 5:03 p.m. Eastern yesterday at minus 140. It went to minus 135, minus 131. You must be looking at, I imagine you're probably looking at first 5. And I don't get first 5 market moves at Pinnacle. I can only get them at Bookmaker. And there's been a 28-cent move towards the Phillies in first 5. So full game, I have minus 140, Piker. So we should connect on DM because somebody's information is wrong, and that concerns me very much. What I have is at 10:39 a.m. this morning, the Phillies were at their cheapest, the full game at minus 128. Minus 128. There is our guy. Don't ask, don't tell. Says Jose, will you take the OK State glove behind you and slap yourself in the face with it, please?
Hold on, give me 2 seconds. I'm in the process of it.
And there's a dono involved, so.
Oh no, I mean I have to do it. This is dusty as fuck, by the way. I just want everyone to see this. How dusty this is. There we go. Just a little slap.
Oh, come on. What? Don't be a pussy. Slap yourself
no,
in the face.
I think I'm gonna put safe this one. You know what? A hands up. I'll do it. I appreciate that. Don't ask, don't tell. But I'll gladly slap myself.
Oh, that's not a slap, man. That's not a slap. That's not a slap.
Well, Jimmy, I'll bring whenever we see each other. Hopefully soon. I'm
going to open hand slap you in the face.
Good. We'll get it on. We'll get it on camera. I can't wait. And just for you. Don't ask, don't tell.
That was sickening. That was sick. Look, even Slaughter is just nonplussed.
Well, Slaughter is never nonplussed with me. So I mean, he's always got this. We have this father-son relationship as well, Jimmy. Except I'm
your only father, Jose. All right, we're gonna move on from that. Jose is on the Phillies first 5 minus half minus 107. He was trying to take my parental right away from me, and he just can't even slap himself in the face. Look at Nilo. Nilo just putting. Okay, now we got $5 more. You still gonna not slap yourself in the face?
Well, I guess I have to for Nilo. Can we say how hard this is? Like how much do you guys
harder? There we go.
Here we go. See? What else do you guys want from me? Send us money and I'll do things. I'm cheap. I can be bought.
Oh, we got another $5 dono. We want another face slap right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
We got even see there we go. We got Turnsy coming in. Keep it coming, everyone. I might not drink out of shoes, but
Harder.
I myself. So here we go. Let's go. We're going to win this. Zach Wheeler, me and you, Zach. Me and you.
Thank you, Jose, for your hard work. Good work, low backers as well. Jose's on the first 5 minus half, minus 107. I'm on the first 4.5 minus a half, minus 120. We move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. We have the Oakland Athletics 49-38, 22-16 on the road at the Houston Astros, 53-33, 27-16 at home. We're at Minute Maid Park, in Houston, Texas. Chris Brady says, get your son in line. I like it. Slots 45 says, my wife wants to know what I'm watching. Jimmy Hilling harder and slap your face. Okay. And Sharpie coming in with the second K-prop of the day says, smash it and thank me later. Wheeler over 7.5 at minus 135 says, Cubs strikeout percentage that is astronomical, 38% last 15 days, 34% last 30 days. Smash spot from our man Sharpie. Smash spot. So a little second K-prop of the day for us. Smash spot on Wheeler. Look, K-pop. Smart in the house as well. Great to see you, Max. Okay, let's keep rolling here in this A's Astros spot right now. Let me get that off. There we go. Thank you, Jose. Sean Manaea going up against Luis Garcia. The roof will be closed as there is supposed to be a little bit of rain in the forecast. Manaea, 6-5, 3.14 ERA, 1.24 whip, 97 2/3, 102 Ks, 25 walks, 10 home runs. He, in his last start, went 5 innings. He did not look good. 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 homers, 1 walk, 6 Ks, and 8-3 loss at home versus Rangers. And we were very fortunate that the market was so confusing in that game, moving towards Texas, while the money and the public were on the A's to get me off of that spot. When I'm a sharper handicapper, I will just take the other side. But it's so hard to do that when it doesn't go with your own, if it doesn't correlate with your own study and your own beliefs. All right, so he's going up against Luis Garcia and the Houston Astros, who are 27-16 at home. Garcia, 6-5, 3.14 ERA, 1.12 whip, 80 1/3, 90 Ks, 27 walks, 9 home runs. Last start, he went 4 innings. He allowed 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks, and a 5-2 loss at home versus the Orioles. He did not look very good. A's versus righties, 233, 721 OPS. Astros versus righty, 287, 803 OPS. Both bullpens are very similar, not having very good years, middling. 4.13 ERA, 1.28 whip for the A's. 4.11 ERA, 1.31 whip for the Astros. Let's go right to baseball data first. Manaea, they're hitting 262, 737 OPS off him. They're pretty good numbers. He's got pretty good numbers. And you've seen them 164 at-bats. And then against Garcia, he just shuts these guys down. An 87 average with a 377 OPS. They're 2 for 23 against them. 2 for 23, but he's coming off a poor start. Chris Smith says Houston the better team. Houston again, Jimmy. And then Mike M says way too much money on the Stros. Okay. Let's take a look at the market move and where the cash is. And the Indians game is on, and Waka looks like he's about to get out of the first inning unscathed. No runners on. Okay, let's look at this Astros A's spot. The Astros open up at minus 140. They're now minus 147, a 7-cent move towards them. This total's gone from 9 to 8.5. So we move over to the cash, and we see that 64% of the tickets and 90% of the cash are on the Astros. There's only been a 7-cent move. Confusing. Very, very confusing. Why wouldn't there be a bigger move towards the Astros? And then we have 66% of the tickets on the under, but just 48% of the cash on the under. So some big bets have come in on the over, and yet it's gone from 9 to 8.5. Gerald Jones says heavy lean over 8.5. So this is a no move for me. It's Garcia has not looked as good as he's been lately. Is he dealing with a little bit of arm fatigue? He gets these A's out. I don't want to trust the A's against the Astros with a lefty on the bump, even if he has good numbers against them, because they're absolutely destroying lefties. So there's enough that I'm not comfortable with, and I'm moving on. I am on the Colorado Rockies first 5 at minus 110. I'm backing Antonio Senzatella, who's coming off a nice start at home versus the Cardinals. He went 7 innings, allowed 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 0 walks, 5 Ks, and a 5-2 win. He's not been good on the road this year, but the roof is closed, and I don't need him to be excellent if it's a bullpen day for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're going with Humberto Castellanos, 0-1, 3.09 ERA, 1.20 whip, 11 2/3, 10 Ks, 6 walks. Not a good K to walk ratio, and he's never started a game before. His last appearance, he went 1 1/3. I mean, he didn't allow a hit, and he walked 2, didn't strike anyone out in a 6-5 loss at home versus the Giants. But he's never started a game before. He's a bullpen guy. Will he be any more nervous starting here? I'm not sure, but I am on the Colorado Rockies first 5, and I got to pick them at that, right? I got Colorado Rockies first 5 minus 110. And right now, these Diamondbacks opened up as the favorite in this spot at minus 114. They're now minus 104. So there's been a 10-cent move over to the Rockies, and I get it. I don't want to back the Rockies in any kind of a full game situation. Let's just go to Bookmaker and see the movement on the first 5. And this had, I should have gone on it earlier to get a plus line. It was plus 105 at Bookmaker, and it moved to minus 110 in the first 45 minutes. It was on the board. It hasn't moved further. This Diamondbacks bullpen is trash. And Piker saying, yeah, I like the A's as a dog today. Slight lean. Manaea with decent numbers in Minute Maid, and they've split games since the opener. Robert Allen, but I don't know. Something is funky about that spot. But Robert Allen saying White Sox Twins comes on in 45 minutes. You can get the White Sox for minus 111 on the money line full game. I'm taking a shot with them. Got Lynn on the mound. Just one I can't pass up. So back to this Rocky spot. Let's go to baseball data here. I'm backing Senzatella, and maybe I shouldn't be because they hit 319 with an 885 OPS against them. So they hit him. And the Rockies haven't seen Castellanos before. Much love to you, Jimmy Gomez. OG low bagger in the house. But I just think, I know the Diamondbacks bullpen is a train wreck. And look, so is the Rockies. Trinity says, how many games are left before Gokster? 3 games left. 3 games left before Gokster. We'll be done very soon. So, and I don't need to go in any further except let's take a look at the money here. We have 72% of the tickets and 97% of the cash on the Rockies. That is a lot. But we've seen them go from road to... I wish there was a bigger move towards them. It makes me a little uncomfortable. And then we have 73% of tickets and 77% of the cash on the under. And Nut Flush on going for the All-Star break dumpster fires. Texas Tigers over, Rockies, Diamondbacks over, and White Sox Twins over. And Matty Ice says over 9.5. Over 9.5. Interesting. There's been a 2-cent move towards the under. And Piker says worst road record in MLB versus worst overall team in MLB pass. I do not believe that the Diamondbacks have what it takes to get through a bullpen day in nice fashion. And this is something that's hurt me in the past. Not believing in bad bullpens on a bullpen day has hurt me in the past. But I like Senzatella's last start a lot. And I'm backing him again here. Robert Don says Diamondbacks have the best record in MLB as a home favorite. They're 7-3, only being favored at home 10 times, and they're no longer the home favorite. So I don't know if that. I guess that the opening line is what you're saying. Okay, so I'm on Rockies first 5, and then I'm also on the Cardinals Giants first 5 over 4.5 at minus 115. Yes, Piker, I'm backing Senzatella first 5 with the Colorado Rockies. Okay. And again, the Diamondbacks are just 227, 658 OPS versus righties, while the Rockies still bad, but 235, 681 OPS. Okay, here we go. The first 5 over 4.5 in Cardinals Giants. We're at Oracle Park, San Francisco, California. 58 Fahrenheit clear, 13 miles per hour out to left center. Now we know the wind swirls. at Oracle, and so let's not take too much into the wind, but it is a little helpful. Johan Oviedo, 0-4, 5.14 ERA, 1.55 whip, 37 Ks in 49 innings, 37 Ks and 26 walks, 7 home runs allowed. His last start was good. It was in Colorado in the thin air. He's pitching better. This is not a strict fade of Oviedo. He looked good. 3 earned runs, quality start. He only got 2 strikeouts. Not getting the strikeouts when he needs them does hurt him. Going up against Alex Wood, who's coming off a nice start at Arizona, but he does not have good numbers against these Cardinals. And more important than that, it's who hits him. And Goldschmidt has 4 homers and 30 at-bats against them. 8 for 30 with 4 homers. And Arenado's just 5 for 25, but has 2 homers. They have 8 homers against Alex Wood as a team, a 1,000 OPS and a 276 batting average. And I think that Oviedo can get touched a little bit. And Reginald Luker is on the under in that Rocky spot. Top Set says, sounds like Rocky score first. Yeah, it does feel that way, but I'm not going to. I need to attack that whole bullpen. And if Castellanos has Castellanos has okay numbers this year. I mean, small sample size. But I'd rather fade everybody that the Diamondbacks bring in rather than focusing on just the one guy. Piker says Cards are 4-1 last 5 meetings. They're catching massive plus money. If the market agrees, I like the Cards as a dog here. Yeah, that might be the look. The Cards are not hitting lefties hard right now. 237, 711 OPS. Giants are hitting 244, 763 OPS versus righties. Cards bullpen's been bad all year. 4.26 ERA, 1.41 whip. But the back end's been good, converted 25 to 32. The Giants bullpen has been excellent, but the back end has not been as strong. Only converted 30 to 46, but have a 3.30 ERA, 1.11 whip. So let's take a look at this market here. Total opens up at 8.5. There's been a 9-cent move towards the over. And there's been a 4-cent move towards the Giants full game from minus 172 to minus 176. So let's take a look at the cash here. And we have 84% of the tickets and 91% of the cash on the Giants. And only a 4-cent move towards them. Peculiar. We have 75% of the tickets and 65% of the cash on the over. And that's what I'm going to focus on. So if I had a free bet, I'd be with you for sure. But with cash out of my pocket, I want to focus on that first 5 over 4.5 only. So that's my move. There you go. First 5 over 4.5, Cardinals, Giants. And let's go to a mistake that I made here. Gerald Jones liking that Colorado look. Oh, and he wants to see the buyback through the timeline. Sure. Sure, Biker, anything for you, my man? Let's go to we're going to go to Pinnacle. So the total's just been moving in that direction since it opened, so there's been nothing much there. Let's go to the money line here. And yes, there's been very interesting buyback. So initially there was very little movement here. It happened between 1:55 a.m. and 4:24 a.m., a big move towards the Giants. So probably, I don't know if it's just stupid saying it, but when it happens at that time of night, I always think there's some sort of a European syndicate making a big move, but that just might be me sexifying the situation. So move to minus 187, and then they move back to the Cardinals at 9:13 this morning. A big move. A 12-cent move back to the Cardinals. Cardinals go from plus 170 to plus 158 down to plus 156 a minute later, so a 14-cent move. And then money slowly coming back in on the Giants. All right. So back to this spot. This was a mistake I made, and I make it too often, and it just upsets me. Sorry, did I lose my volume there? Sorry, am I back? Let me just make sure I'm back. Sorry, I don't know how that happened. I apologize. I hope I wasn't out for too long. Okay, sorry, guys. I hope I wasn't out for too long. Okay, here's the mistake. This is the mistake I made, and I made it too long, too often. I knew that I wanted the Mariners' first 5, and the first 5s came out, but I wasn't fully done all of my number breakdown, even for that game. But I knew I wanted them. I knew I wanted them with Kikuchi. And I wasn't done my breakdowns on other games. But who cares? Bet it right away. Because I could have got the Mariners first 5 at minus 105. Instead, I got them at minus 120. It cost me 15 cents. Because what? I needed all my ducks in a row? It's just stupid. I don't need them in a row. I don't need them. And there it is, Gambler's First Glance. Seattle money line plus 108 for the Yankees. And Nuffluch saying, be careful with the Giants right now. Too much uncertainty in the lineup. They're searching for a magic rotation to fill in with the injuries. The Brandon Belt injury has been bad. Gambler's First Glance from Razor is such an excellent video that he puts out each day. And Seattle money line plus 108 versus Yankees. So I heard from Razor that was his look, and I was like, "Oh, perfect!" Because I'm on the first 5. I want to be on the first 5. And then I went over because it was like at 9:30 in the morning. The first 5s were out, and I should have attacked it right away. And it's going to cost me money. And I was fucking embarrassed putting out the minus 120. But we not going to giving out stale lines is something that very, very. It's a problem in our industry. Cappers giving out stale lines, and something I've tried to stay away from. Very hard. Well, I don't need to stay. It's not hard to stay away from it. You just be honest. But I was very upset that I got minus 120 like an ass clown. And Gambler's First Glance got in at plus 108, which was at a great time. It was a great bet. Okay, so Kikuchi's been very good. Domingo Germán has been suspect. Yes, the Yankees are rolling, and yes, I left money on the table not backing the Yankees yesterday. 71 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 8 miles per hour to center at T-Mobile Park. Keon Jackson, no problem. The taint is the Braves' first 5 minus a half, and I believe it goes off in 7 minutes. So you're just in time. Okay. Okay. All right, Justin. Herman, 4-5, 4.50 ERA, 1.24 whip, 76 innings, 68 Ks, 19 walks, 15 home runs. In his last start, he didn't make it through 3. So, yeah, the Mariners don't hit righties, 217, 674 OPS, but this is all Kikuchi all the time. DC says Mariners are 1-7 in Kikuchi's last 8 home starts versus a team with a winning record. That's concerning. But I have to back Kikuchi here. He's pitching very well. What he did up against Ryu in his last start against the Jays team that smashes lefties was extremely impressive. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 1 walk, 6 Ks. In an offensive park, it was just a thing of beauty from Kikuchi. And I'm going to back him here. But just first 5. Just first 5. This Yankees team is hitting on all – well, I think they're going to get away from the pressure, get out to the West Coast, and hit on all cylinders. They certainly showed that last game. I don't want to mess with this Mariners bullpen at 4.21 ERA. So, yeah, Mike M., I'm a believer in Kikuchi. So let's just quickly go over baseball data because we want to get into our NHL Stanley Cup Game 5 coverage. Against Herman, they're just 1 for 17. 3 batters have faced him. I don't care. Against Kikuchi, they're 8 for 33 with 2 home runs. Again, I feel like I have a huge advantage with Kikuchi on the mound for 5 innings. And that's what I'm going to attack here. I cannot believe I got minus 120 like an asshole, but I have to deal with it. Look, it's minus 115 now. Just embarrassment. Just a fucking embarrassment. And that also happens to me. I just panic right away. I see the market moving. I'm like, oh God, now it's even better line than what a fucking clown, man. Maybe I need that Oklahoma State glove to slap myself in the face. So this total's gone from 9 to 8.5. The Yankees have gone from minus 125 down to minus 109. Minus 125 down to minus 109. And the cash in this game, we've seen 48% of the tickets and 26% of the cash on the Mariners. It's a little concerning. And then 60% of the tickets and 32% of the cash on the under. Okay. What's done is done. Fuck. And then we have the final game on the card. Tricky one. And we'll get into NHL. Washington Nationals 41-43, 17-21 on the road at San Diego Padres 51-37, 31-16 at home. We're at Petco Park in San Diego, California. 69 Fahrenheit, clear 5 miles per hour sideways, across the diamond. Corbin 5-7, 5.56 ERA, 1.40 WHIP, 87 in the third, 70 Ks, 29 walks, and 17 home runs. In his last start, he allowed 5 earned runs, 6 in total, and 4 2/3. He just doesn't look good. He was at home versus the Dodgers. It was a game that was called after 5 innings due to rain. Paddock, 4-5, 4.56 ERA, 1.23 WHIP, 73 innings, 75 Ks, 17 walks, 10 home runs allowed in those 73 innings. He's coming off a good start, a quality start at the Phillies with a 4.3 extra inning loss, 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 5 Ks. The Nats are hitting 247, 716 OPS versus righties. The Padres just 233, 705 OPS versus lefties. Padres bullpen much better than the Nats. So let's just take a look at the market move. Padres open up at -172. They're now -171, and the total's gone from 9 to 8.5. 9 to 8.5. And then we have the 51% of the tickets and 99% of the cash on the Padres. 2,484 tickets in. So some huge bets being made on the Padres and Paddock, fading Corbin. And maybe that's the right thing to do, just fade Corbin and back Paddock at home. 65% of the tickets and 85% of the cash on the over, and it's gone from 9 to 8.5. Sharpie says I'm on the over 4.5 -110 cash back-to-back days. Padres smash left-handed pitching last 15 days. Now I'm a Paddock fade type of guy. That's number 3 OPS versus right-handed pitching last 15 days. Christopher Comentini says fade Corbin. DC says over 6-0 Corbin's last 6 starts with the road starts versus a team with a winning record. Ergo Cossack says, who would be your best totals bet for tonight? Okay, let's get into that question, Ergo, after I decide, is it worth backing the Padres here? So I'm certainly not going to take him first 5 because we have a bullpen advantage. -170 and +115 on the -1 line. Let's just pop that into the -1 calculator right now. Also, I'll pop this -1 calculator into the chat again for anyone watching who is new. It's extremely important for success in MLB and NHL. You know, Padres -1 at -126. That makes sense to me. Let's go to baseball data and see if it all correlates, and I should pull the trigger. Against Corbin, they're hitting 309 with a 927 OPS. But they're 1 for 6 against Paddock, and that one of those hits was Starlin Castro homer. Only 3 batters have faced him. Trinity says, I have actually noticed that I don't see you on many full game totals. Is there a reason for it? Just curious. Yeah, definitely. There's a huge reason for it. My ROI is much stronger when I take the bullpens out of it. I find the bullpens increase all the volatility, and I want first 5s. I feel like we have a real strong sense of these starting pitchers, and I just don't want a lot of these unknowns. And how is the manager going to use them? And who's available and who's unavailable? I just think there's too many unknowns in a full game bet, and I don't want much to do with them. You know, so Chris Brady has the -1 calculator. I'm still going to pop it into the chat here for everybody. So yes, I'm going to move on to Padres -1. Okay, so Padres -1 is in addition to my action. Piker says Nats are a live dog here as well. They are, but Corbin's just been bad. And the Dodgers are bad against lefties, and they got to him so easily. Now the Padres are at home, where they're 31-16. Nationals are a losing road team. Okay, so that is our action. So let's review it and then move on to NHL right now. We are coming off just a 2-2 day, middling, not very good. We had 6 bets in before the day started. Reds first 4.5 -0.5 at -135. Red Sox first 5 -125. Phillies first 4.5 -0.5 at -120. Rockies first 5 at -110. St. Louis, San Francisco first 5 over 4.5 -115. And Mariners first 5 at -120. If you ask my favorite total, well, it's simple because I only have one that I'm betting. St. Louis, San Francisco first 5 over 4.5. is my favorite total. So I'm curious. I'm interested in the Rays game 2. The Taint play of the day is starting right now. Atlanta first 5 -0.5 and -110. And then, I'm going to add no run first inning in Tigers Rangers. I'm going to add no run first inning in Tigers Rangers. So there's 3 additions. So no run first inning in Tigers Rangers. And then the Dirty K prop is Burns over 7.5 at +110. I'm going to have interest in game 2 on the Mets if DeGrom somehow loses game 1. I'm adding the Red Sox full game. And that is a max bet from our gas station sushi. Jose Seje play of the day is the Phillies first 5 -1/2 and -107. I'm on that, but I got the 4.5. I'm on the Rockies first 5, as you guys know. And I'm adding Padres -1. And the Rays are on the board. The Rays are already on the board. Against Maya. God, and the Rays bullpen's so good. I think I left money on the table there. Fuck. All right. There you have it. There is MLB. We move on to NHL. Is this the last day that we get to have Gokster on the show to talk hockey this season? I hope not. Our man, Mr. Gokster, went back to the well on Habs' first period and was richly rewarded. Coming to us live from Belleville, Ontario. Please welcome Mr. Gokster to the show. Gokster, what up, my man? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing today? Ready to fire? It's a cool day up north here, Jim. You know, not the hottest of days. So let's warm this up here. Let's cash some tickets. What's going on, Gas? Everyone, Dennis, Malley, glad to be back. Let's hopefully have a game 6 here.
This is fun.
Ternsey.
This is fun. Here we go. Now, those of you who watched every second of Game 4, which I'm sure a lot of you did, you have to think that the Habs were fortunate with a couple posts because there were some beautiful setups, especially on the power play.
Yeah.
We'll get into all of this, but let's talk about the market first and the cash, and then I'm just going to set a table, just to set a table for Mr. Gokster.
Right.
The
early lunch.
Lightning open up at -220. They're now at -235.
Yeah, it's went nuts.
They are huge favorites. The total opened up at 5. The over was -118. It is now up to -130. All of that says to me that they think Tampa Bay is going to tickle the twine often. Let's take a quick look at the cash flow here. And we have 74% of money line bets on the Lightning and 97% of the cash on the Lightning. That's 9,179 tickets in.
Holy.
We have 57% of tickets on the over and just 10% of the cash on the over. Very, very interesting. Okay, Stanley Cup Final, Game 5. Tampa Bay up 3-1. The Montreal Canadiens, the glory of this franchise, they are 8-1 when facing elimination on home ice in a Stanley Cup Final. You Habs fans are very lucky.
They had those 3 guys. They had Lafleur, Roy, and who's the other guy? They had 3 of the old school guys in the building for Game 4. So they had a lot of luck, like you said, ringing those posts. Just, I don't know, they just willed out that game and won that game. But this one here is going to be a test, yeah.
Montreal became the first team to score in overtime to avoid being swept in the Stanley Cup Final since the Bruins did it in 1946. And I went back, I was like, God, which one? All I can remember is the Huey Krupp goal. And, of course, Florida didn't score in overtime in that one. Mm-hmm. But I was like, it was hard for me to go back to the overtime spots that teams who haven't done it. The Canadiens also avoided becoming the first team to get swept in the final since Detroit beat Washington in 1998. And then here we go with the stat of the day.
Here we go, baby.
The Lightning are 0-4 in overtime in the postseason and 0-5 when giving up the first goal. Gokster, Game 5, Stanley Cup Final, huge favorite in the Tampa Bay Lightning. Take it away.
All right, guys, this has just been an unbelievable series, playoffs. This Montreal Canadiens team, it's almost, they're saying it's destiny. I don't know about that, but it's been unbelievable what they've been doing with Ducharme. Remember who was the head coach for this team, Jim, at the beginning of the year?
Sorry?
The head coach for Montreal at the beginning of the year, it was Julien.
Yeah.
They went with Ducharme, the injuries they had. If you told me this team would be in the Stanley Cup Final, guys, in the middle of the year, I'd say, how much meth have you done today? Like, you're crazy. But look at them here. They've done it. It's been crazy. Like, they shouldn't be where they are, guys. With that being said, this is the best Montreal team they've had on the ice with what they've done to the lines, the changes. Adding Anderson, Jim, with Suzuki and Caulfield is just huge. Toffoli's finally able to get more scoring opportunities with that first line, guys, with Gallagher and Danault. Lekkonen's down on that third line as well. What we're getting at here, guys, is just the best Montreal team they're putting forward. Not to mention they've got Merrill and they've gotten Gustafsson out. Those are two defensive guys that they've been really weak. Those first two games, Jim, when they were on the road in Tampa Bay, they had to lean on Sherratt and Edmondson to play a lot more ice time. They were on the third line. They didn't want to give Merrill and Gustafsson pairing together. So they've actually added Romanov, and Kulak. Two really good offensive players, young guys. You saw what Romanov did from the point. He put a nasty shot, just a snipe of a shot, kind of like what Hedman does for Tampa Bay, and he got past Vasilevsky there. It's a great addition. The only problem is now they're going to be on the road. These two young guys are on the road. I don't know how much they're going to see the ice on the road here, if they're going to actually go back to that Edmondson and Sherratt pairing with one of these two guys. So that'll be interesting. With that being said, guys, I think this is go time for each team, especially in the first period, Jim. I'm actually going to be taking, guys, first period over 1.5. We're going first period over 1.5 here. Montreal, just like Jim says, they know they got to come out strong. Not necessarily locked down, but they can't be playing catch up with this Tampa Bay team. I like the first period over here, guys. What else can we go on about this game? Just it's the reunited. It's how they've been reunited, Jim. Just these lines and what Ducharme's done. Not to mention there was a big hurricane, guys, in Tampa Bay. If you guys were in Tampa, you might know what's been going on there. There's just been some issues with. They're actually lucky this Hurricane Elsa could have hit that Tampa, but it didn't. So there won't be any viewing parties out front of Tampa Bay. With that being said, it will be rocking. But having Romanov and just like Slatsy's saying here, with Romanov in, that's crucial for him, not to mention Kulak as well. Two young guys that are going to be a spark. You have Evans also in for Kotkaniemi on the third line, guys. This is the best Montreal chance, Jim. It's going to be really tough, but I think they're going to come out strong in the first period. And Tampa Bay, they're going to have no Killorn. But at home, guys, where we're here, 45 goals for in the playoffs at home, only 29 on the road. So this is where they score. It's clear as day. But Montreal, they can score both home and road. They've had 25-4 at home, 26 on the road. So they can score as well. So I'm taking first period over 1.5. I'm going to get crazy here as well, Jim. I'm taking Montreal first period money line. That's plus 171. And I'm taking Montreal first period team total over 0.5. That's plus 122. So they're all three of those are plus numbers there, guys. Worst case Ontario, 1-0 Tampa Bay. We don't want to see that. But if it's 1-1, we cash the over. We cash Montreal team total over first period. 1-0, we cash both Montreal first period and the team total over. So that's where I'm looking right there, Jim. And I have two more plays, but I want to hear what you got to say, brother.
Well, Anderson moving on the line with Suzuki and Caulfield was a huge move. Kekalainen, the general manager of the Blue Jackets, should be fired for the Anderson-Domi trade. And not because he made one mistake, but because he has no respect for size and speed in today's NHL if he makes that trade.
Yeah.
It's not because of one mistake. It's because of the mistake that was made. And look, the Finns are tough. We've always talked about them being the toughest of the Europeans. So for him not to have respect for a big forward, he should be fired and slapped in the face with an OK State batting glove.
He did bring in Laine with that trade with Dubois. But still, that's another big guy they got rid of. He's going more for that scoring mindset with like Domi. I don't like that. You're spot on with that, Jimmy. He got rid of their big guys, and look where it got them, absolutely nowhere. So
terrible. Yeah. And then Tortorella takes the blame, which I'm happy for because he's an ass. Okay, so let's talk a little more about this and what the guys are saying in the chat, and we'll keep doing this.
Toffoli's going to get going, North Andrew. I like him on the first line. This is where he needs to. He wasn't shining with those two young guys. It's too much offense.
Romanov, that defensive pairing looked very bad with the pinch after the goal, allowing the 2-on-1. And the Killorn hurts them being out, but Matthew Joseph, he's a French kid, is playing very well.
He is. That was a really good play he had there. Yeah, that pinch, and then he came back there. Nice saucer pass over the stick. Yeah.
The penalty kill for the Canadiens, 5 for 5. If they let 5 power plays to the Lightning in this game, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
I know that this penalty killing is being spectacular, but for the love of God, don't mess with Kucherov and Hedman there. And we are not even mentioning Stammer.
No, can I get to a little quick point here? Power play guys for Tampa Bay. First series against Florida, 40%, Carolina, 44%, New York Islanders, 29%, and now Montreal, 17%. So it's just been dropping, and now it's only down to 17% against Montreal. But yeah, you don't want to test those waters. It's a really strong team. But Jim, point, you saw that slap shot point took right above the knee there. Right where there's pretty much no padding there, next to nothing. He took a 95-mile-an-hour slap shot, guys, from Hedman there. So he's definitely not 100%. There's no way he's, obviously took a couple of days off, but that's not a good sign. Point's actually been stifled, guys. He's done absolutely nothing. This is what Montreal's done to their top players. Did it to Stone, did it really to Matthews, did it to Ehlers. So this is what Montreal can do. Now they're doing it to Point. So they've taken away one of their top players. It's really interesting, guys. Don't count Montreal out by any means. They've it's crazy. And also what I saw from Tampa Bay, they're kind of just playing it cool, guys. Oh, we've been here before. We've won 13 in a row after losing our first game, or not, bouncing back, winning 13 in a row. It's going back 2 playoff years there. So it's not going to be as easy as you think. That's why I think there's going to be some goals early, Jim. I'm also taking actually both teams to score in the second period. It's a risky play here, guys, but just looking back from what these teams have done, it's second period where both teams score a shit ton of goals here. You got 22 for Tampa Bay at home, 11 against. Montreal, what do we got here? 10-4, 10 against. So I'm leaning towards both teams to score as well. The reunition from these teams being reunited, with these lines, Jim, with Montreal first, second, third line, I think it's only going to produce more offense. And as we said with Romanov, so look for some offense here. Both teams to score, guys, in the second period, plus 160. And if I like all these goals, I'm adding a full game over 5 at minus 125.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking that when you were talking about your both teams scoring in the second period. Very interesting breakdown. So here we have a spot where Carey Price gained confidence because Vasilevsky only stopped 18 shots in game 4.
Yeah.
So Price has to steal a game on the road. We knew that the whole time, that Price has to go into Tampa and steal a game on the road. Now he's got to steal 2 games on the road. The offense is full game over. I like it.
Yeah, it's a tough. If Montreal wins, it's got to stay under.
Without a doubt.
Pretty much. Like it's plain and simple. Yeah.
Without a doubt. If Montreal wins, this goes under. So my initial thought was under, and I wish I could bet a first 2 period total to stay away from how early a goalie will be pulled. If it's 2-0 or 3-1, that goalie's going to be pulled earlier. So we talked. So Lightning are 0-4 in overtime in the postseason. I've never heard a Stanley Cup winner with that kind of record before. 0-5 when giving up the first goal. Same goes. But then we have the stat that you mentioned. The Lightning are 13-0 over the past 2 playoffs when coming off a loss. There's my guy Bruce Shad in the house.
What's going on, Bruce?
So only 4 teams in NHL playoff history have rallied to win a series after losing the first 3 games. Only one has been able to do that in the Stanley Cup Final. We have to go back to 1942, Leafs over the Red Wings. So Slats45 says, can you imagine Tampa's mindset if they lose tonight? So I agree with Northender.
I was just going to get to that. Yeah, that
it all comes down to Carey Price.
Yeah, it does, guys. If he needs to steal this game for them, that's what it comes down to. Because, and I don't know if he can. When he gets moving side to side, Jim, like he's a little bit of an older goalie too. When Tampa starts moving the puck around, man, he doesn't look good at all. Like they have to start getting their, like Montreal has to get those sticks, and they have to keep doing what they're doing because. Yeah, like you said, they got lucky. They hit 3 posts the last game, guys. One of those goals should have went in, but Montreal got quite lucky they didn't. And I just don't know if Price can steal a game. With that being said, I think Montreal is going to balls to the wall here. And Tampa Bay, they lose this game. Shit, it's going game 7. I think Montreal, they got the win behind them. So look for some overs here, guys. I think first, and all these are plus money except for the over 5 minus 125. So jumping on these plus money. So we go 3 for 5 or 2 for 5. We could even come up positive here, guys. 3 for 5 for sure. So I'll tweet out my action as I always do. Ego47 on Twitter. And yeah, what do you got, Jim? What's your action?
As a hockey fan, I obviously want the series to extend.
I know.
I want to see the Lightning get pushed. I want to see all that. I'm not going to take money out of my pocket and risk it on the Habs here. But if I wanted to believe in the Habs at all, I would take the under 5. And the fact that there is such a big bets here with 9,419 tickets in, such big bets here on the under is extremely interesting.
I know.
So it has to parlay, or it has to correlate with the Habs having a good hockey game. And this is now a Montreal team that can get outshot 1.5 to 1, not quite 2 to 1, but 1.5 to 1, and win a game because of the electricity of Suzuki, who I've been extremely impressed with. I always keep a very close eye on small centermen to see how they handle the pressure of the playoffs and the abuse. And Cole Caulfield, who's not been as good as Suzuki, but who's very dangerous. We know that Toffoli and Anderson can, score goals in dirty areas. There was some magic that happened with the Josh Anderson goal. There's no doubt about it. There's keeping the series alive, getting onto the airplane, going down to Tampa. All of a sudden they were like looking each other in the eyes and saying, oh, we can do this. We can do this. They got the bounces. We can do this. Price has to stand on his head. So the fact that you're all over these overs is going to make me sit back and think a little harder on this. But at this point, I want the under full game.
The only thing that actually does scare me, guys, is this is hard. I kind of lean towards Montreal here. There's a couple things I still want to get to. One is the mayor jinx. The mayor from Tampa Bay is guaranteeing a win now. She's being all crazy. It's never went well. Whenever this happened with the Toronto Raptors, guys, teams guarantee, mayors guarantee wins, never goes well. So that's going against Tampa Bay. What else here? Shit, I just had a big one there, guys. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a brain fart here, but yeah, this Montreal here, it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to come out strong. Oh, yeah, it was Anderson, Jim. Sorry, Anderson and the goalie that passed away, Matthias Kivlankis. He passed away. That was Anderson's teammate, so he was good friends with him, playing with him in Columbus. So he definitely had a heavy heart that night, and I think he had definitely some luck with him looking under him. But yeah, this is going to be interesting, guys. I have to lean towards. I like Montreal first period. Montreal score. Over first period goal is 0.5, first period over 1.5. And from then on out, the over 5 is very interesting, especially with Jim saying on the money. I don't love that one as much, especially taking it at minus 125. And 10% of the money's on the over. That's it. It's quite an interesting way to look at here, guys. I'm still going to stick with what I have. Both teams will score in the second period as well, plus 160. It's an interesting look. If Montreal can hold their power play and they play similar to they do in game 4, then we're going back to Montreal. But if it starts getting loose and Tampa Bay starts feeling the home energy like they have all playoff long, then cup's going to be raised. That cup behind me right there.
2 things I want to ask you about, and we only have a few minutes before the Big Bobano and C-Mac show. First thing I want to ask you about is Does the fact that the Habs haven't won in Tampa in 4 years make you uncomfortable to back them?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't know that. I know they've struggled over there. They did score 3 goals last game. They lost, what was it, 6-3? That's a good sign. But no, I don't. This is such a different beast. All these stats with winning 13 in a row and all these other numbers. You got to really have watched this series and know situations and guys being in and out. I think that's bigger than any of these numbers. I wouldn't take these trends too seriously, guys, going into Game 7 or Game 5 here. Anything can happen. So I like the overs, and let's see what happens.
On the Habs to win the Cup. God, I hope we can keep talking about this. Okay, second and final question here. Do you think that the Habs were pushing the Lightning around in Game 4?
Oh God, yeah. Like you saw what they did to Point there. They were running Point. Point just missed a couple of shots where he would have been just lamb-pasted to the wall there. Yeah, they've been a lot more physical, and they have the offense. They have the right line combinations. They're not better than Tampa Bay guys, but they have the right pieces in place. I'm not saying that Tampa Bay doesn't with Kucherov and company, but it's just they have the best recipe to beat Tampa Bay with this lineup. And what they did in Game 4 was exactly what they're going to have to do. And just like these numbers are saying, if they win, it's going to stay under Tampa Bay team total. They're not scoring 3 goals if Montreal wins this game. So
when I see a team that is 0-4 in overtime, it leads me to think that they've been getting pushed around all game.
But yeah, no, 100%. That means, that for the most part, usually that means they were winning, and then the teams came back. And then, you know what I mean? That momentum from scoring that goal leads into the overtime. So 100%, Jim.
Well, I'm going to have to build up the courage to take the under 5. And I'm going to have to build that up. And that's going to have to come throughout the day.
I think you got to take Montreal too then, buddy.
I don't. Because I don't want to have too much money on this spot here. I don't want to see. Look, I'm in the line of fire here. The Lightning are 13-0 after a loss. They're so strong at home. 45 goals, 429 goals against.
I know.
I do not have to put 2 units down on this game. And look, I can have 0 units on it and still love watching it.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm talking shit. I didn't take Montreal, and I'm telling you to take Montreal. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Just poor etiquette.
But obviously the under correlates with Montreal, and I can cash. It's possible to cash the under with the Montreal loss.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep watching the total and see if it keeps steaming to the over. But
I have to think. I don't want to overthink this too much, guys. I got to think over. I think Montreal is going to push the pace. So is Tampa Bay. They're going to be at home. It's just going to be too much, like it's been to all playoff long. It's just going to be a little too much for Montreal, but it's going to be a battle. 4-2, 3-2, 3-3 overtime. I think we see some goals here, guys. Will Montreal win? I hope, but
30-cent move at some books towards the Lightning right now. Montreal opening up at Pinnacle plus 190. They're at plus 209, but Bet 365, a predominantly Canadian, one of the books. There's a ton of, also a ton of European cash, obviously, but a ton of Canadian cash. They've got the worst odds for the Lightning of any of them, which is not usual. Usually they'd have the worst odds on the Habs. Anthony says, so you think Montreal has to open it up and it results in goals? No, at all. I don't. I think that Montreal has to attack them hard in the first period, but they have to stay out of the penalty box. And Carey Price has to stand on his head. And when the Lightning are pushing, they have to take advantage of the odd man opportunities and score them. That's what I think. I
think both teams are going to push, and I think it's going to be an open game. If it goes 6, I think it's going to be a dead nuts under. But I think this game is going to lean towards the over, Jim. I do think it's going to open up as the game goes on. As first 2 periods, I do think it actually opens up. Third period, 2-2, 3-3. I don't know. That's just the way I'm feeling here, guys. I do think it is going to go over. Montreal gets the lead, and we see what happens here, guys. Sorry we're going so damn long, but
it's a fascinating situation and a fascinating handicapping situation. But we got to go. Head over to the Babano and CMAC show, and don't forget Razor Sharp Picks horse racing show tonight.
Yeah.
The game is on. My mom is heavily invested in this hockey game. We want to be a part of the horse show. We may and there's no Emerald Downs tonight, so we may jump in for the last few races at Assiniboia in the Dirty Peg. But we will, if we're not there tonight, we'll definitely be on tomorrow night for the horse racing show. There you have it. Very, very exciting. Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Gokster. Could you please review your action and then get us out of here because guys got to jump over to the next show.
Yeah, for sure, guys. We'll be quick. We got another show jumping on. So 5 picks for this game. We're not shying away. First period over 1.5 plus 127. Full game over 5 minus 125. First period Montreal 1 plus 171. First period team total over 0.5 plus 122, and both teams to score. Second period plus 160. Get that cash, guys, as always.
I love it. Gokster, can you let us into the future?
Yes, sir. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I can't be too long on this one. Leche, Elos, bookmakers, get that cash. Go Habs, baby. Let's get some goals tonight. All right, come on. Where's the bang bang, Preston? Come on.
I can't breathe.
Pub Sports Radio. Come find us in Southtown 101. Subscribe on YouTube and all platforms where podcasts are found.